Very good morning, children. And previously, as a part of intermediate economics, we studied basic things like types of goods and also what is circular flow of economic activity and difference between microeconomics and macroeconomics and even what is utility, what are the types of utility. All we have seen as a part of first year intermediate. And another important topic in our first year intermediate economics is theory of demand. See, what is demand? In a general sense, the demand means, in a general way, in our ordinary language, demand means desire of a person to purchase a commodity or service. In our ordinary language, demand means desire of a person to purchase a commodity or service. But according to economics, demand means the desire backed by necessary purchasing power. So, in economics, to call a demand, we require two things. One is the purchasing power and also desire. So, desire to purchase a commodity as well as the purchasing power, ability to buy, purchasing power or ability to buy. So, in order to understand this, just take simple example. A beggar has desire to purchase a refrigerator or one electronic device, but he has no ability to purchase that. But a miser, the person who doesn't want to spend money unnecessarily, the person has the capacity, he has the ability, he has the purchasing power, but he has no desire to purchase a refrigerator. So, to create a demand for a particular commodity, we require two things. One is that is the purchasing power as well as the desire. So, both must be there to create a demand for a particular commodity. So, in economics, demand means the desire backed by purchasing power or ability to buy, what I have written here. Understood? So, in this chapter, you are going to see what are the types of demand. That is, types of demand are the price demand, income demand, cross demand. And what is elasticity of demand? What is the importance of elasticity of demand? So, before going to see all those which are very important, which even come in your degree, before going to see all those, first of all, you have to understand what is law of demand. The law of demand actually plays very important role in principles of economics, and even which is also called the first law of purchase. The law of demand is also called what? The first law of purchase. The law of demand plays important role in the principles of economics. And second important thing you have to know, the law of demand is also called the law of purchase. Understood? Then this law of demand actually explains the relationship between the price of a commodity and quantity demanded of a commodity. The price of a commodity and the quantity demanded of a commodity. So, this relationship between these two are explained by law of demand. And what is law of demand here? We are explaining, before going to see the law of demand, explanation of the law of demand, we have to see some assumptions. Assumptions in the sense on what actually this law is actually dependent. Under which situations, which conditions must be there to operate that particular law. So those are assumptions. What are those assumptions? The first important one, no change in the income of the consumer, no change in the taste and preferences of the consumer, no change in the price of substitute goods and complementary goods, and no substitutes you should find, and also no future expectations about prices. So if these conditions are there, then only the law of demand operates. So if you observe any change in these what I told you just now, this law will not operate. So what are assumptions means which conditions must be there to operate a particular law, those are assumptions. So under assumptions what you have seen just now, that for law of demand particularly you should observe these. The first important thing is you should not observe any change in the income of the consumer. That means if his income changes, automatically the demand what he demands the goods may change. That's why his income must not be changed. And you should not observe any change in his tastes and preferences. You should not observe any change in the substitute goods and complementary goods. And also you should not find any new substitutes, and you should not have any future expectations about prices. Then only the law of demand actually applies. So that is about assumptions. Next, what is law of demand? Law of demand actually explains when the price of a commodity increases, the quantity demanded of a commodity decreases. See the first one. When the price of a commodity increases, the quantity demanded of a commodity decreases, and vice versa. And vice versa means opposite condition you have to remember. What is the opposite condition? When the price of a commodity decreases, the quantity demanded of a commodity will increase. So this is what law of demand. When other things remain same, when other things remain same means what? What are the other things actually? Other things are his income must not be changed, and you should not observe any change in the price of substitute goods and complementary goods, and also there must not be any change in the price of substitutes and complementary goods, taste and preferences. You should not find any new substitute, and the consumer should not have any future expectations about prices. So when other things remain same, this operates that when price of a commodity increases, the quantity demanded decreases. When the price of a commodity decreases, the quantity demanded increases. This is what law of demand. Now we try to understand this law of demand with the help of a diagram. Yes children, yes students, see here, just now we have seen what is demand and what is law of demand, and what are the assumptions, and what actually law of demand is based on. And you have to see, in order to understand law of demand, what a law of demand tells: when the price of commodity increases, the quantity demanded decreases. When the price of a commodity decreases, the quantity demanded increases. When other things remain same, other things in the sense the income of the consumer must not be changed, the taste and preferences of the consumer must not be changed, and even we should not find any new substitute, and also we should not have any future expectations about price. These are the assumptions. Now we try to understand this law of demand with the help of the following table. So in this table I have exhibited the price here 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and quantity demanded like 10 to 50. That means when price falls from 5 to 1 rupee, from 5 rupees to 1, the quantity demanded increases from 10 to 50. At the same time, when price increases from 1 to 5, the quantity demanded decreases from 50 to 10. In this way, when price falls, quantity demanded increases. When price increases, quantity demanded decreases. What we can understand from this table. And with the same, you can exhibit in the diagram also. On y-axis we have taken price, and x-axis we have taken quantity demanded. Understood? So in the price 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and quantity demand. So according to this table, see, based on this table, when the price is 5, what the quantity demanded? 10. When the price is 5, quantity demanded is 10. So this is the first price and quantity demanded. And when price falls from 5 to 4, quantity demanded increases from 10 to 20. Okay, see this. And when price again falls from 4 to 3, quantity demanded increases from 10 to 20 to 30. And again, when price falls from 3 to 2, quantity demanded increases from 3 to 30 to 40. Like that, when price falls from 2 to 1, the quantity demanded increases from 40 to 50. So in this way, whenever I join all these dots, you get a negative sloped demand curve. The demand curve slopes from left to right downwards. What does it mean? There is a inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. What we can understand from this diagram. So students, I hope you understood how there is negative relationship between a quantity demanded and price. If there is a negative relationship between two things, you find this type of curve. If there is positive relationship between two things, the curve slope from left right upwards. If you take supply curve, when price increases, supply also increases. When price falls, supply also falls. In that situation, the supply curve slope from left right upwards. But here, as there is negative relationship or inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded, the demand curve slope from left right downwards. So this is what you should understand from this diagram. Now let us see in which situations law of demand will not apply, will not work. See, those are called exceptions to the law of demand. Actually, according to demand, what is law of demand? According to law of demand, when price falls, the quantity demanded increases. When price increases, quantity demanded decreases. But in certain situations, those are positively related. Price and quantity demanded are positively related. That means when price increases, quantity demanded also increases. When price falls, the quantity demanded also falls. In such situation, you find the demand curve actually slopes upwards from left to right. Such situations are called exceptions to the law of demand. What are exceptions to the law of demand? In which situations the law of demand actually will not work? Those are called exceptions to the law of demand. Then what are those? The first important one is given goods. See, certain goods like ragi, jowar, bajra. In case of these goods, when the prices of these goods fall, the quantity demanded also will fall, and when the prices of these goods increase, the quantity demanded also will increase. What the situation observed by Sir Robert Giffen, that's why it is explained as the Giffen paradox. According to Sir Robert Giffen, in cases of these, when price falls, demand also falls. When price increases, demand also increases. As these goods are treated as inferior according to the consumer. So consumers may feel that if the price of those goods fall, those may be considered as inferior. Inferior in the sense somewhat cheap according to the consumer. So instead of spending more amounts on such cheap goods, they may spend more on other type of goods, the quality goods. Even you can understand this with other example. Take for example, the price of 1 kilo of rice is 40, one type of rice is 40, and the price of 1 kilo of rice, other type of rice is 10 rupees. If the income of the poor person increases, the poor person will not spend his income, particularly increase in income on 10 rupees kilo rice. He tries to spend by stopping the purchase of 10 rupees kilo rice. He may go to 40 rupees kilo rice. Even though the price of 10 rupees kilo falls from 10 to 9, he will not prefer to purchase the uh, 10 rupees kilo rice. With the amount what he saved while purchasing 10 rupees kilo rice, that amount will be spent to quality rice. So that is what actually explained here. That's why these such type of goods are called Giffen goods, as it was explained by Sir Robert Giffen, the English economist. These type of goods are called Giffen goods, and this situation is called Giffen paradox. And the next important one is the Veblen effect or prestige goods. As this situation was explained by T. Veblen, these kind of goods are called Veblen goods. See, some goods like gold, diamonds, costly furniture, costly cars. See, in case of these goods, actually, the goods which are considered as prestige goods according by the rich people, particularly rich people purchase all those goods for their social prestige. If those goods price fall, these people may not purchase those goods. Why? Because those goods are considered as prestige goods by the rich people. What these people may feel that those goods may not have any special importance. Understood? So in that way, when the price of costly furniture, when the price of gold, when the price of jewelry, the price of cars, costly cars decrease, the demand may not increase, the demand may decrease, according to T. Veblen. So in case of such goods also, that law of demand will not work. That's why such type of goods are called Veblen goods. Veblen goods are also called prestige goods. So in case of prestige goods also, when the price of goods actually increase, the quantity demand will not decrease. Actually, if the price of such goods increase, the quantity demand may increase. When the price of such goods decrease, the quantity demand also decrease. That's why in case of prestige goods also, you may find the demand curve slope is from left right upward, not from left right downward. And third important one is speculation effect. Speculation effect is nothing but when price of a particular commodity increases, whenever people expect that if there is further increase in the price of such good, they may postpone the purchase of such good. So when the price of a commodity decreases, the people may expect that there will be further fall in the price, so the demand will not increase. For example, 1 kilo of tomato, yesterday it was 20. 3 days back it was 20. Again 2 days back it came down to 15. Again yesterday it came down to 10. And today it is 8 rupees. So what people feel that even it may go to 5 rupees also. So instead of increasing the demand for tomato, some people may try to postpone the purchase of tomato, and even though there is fall in the price of tomato, demand will not increase. So this is called what? Speculation effect. And even in case of increase in the price, for example, the kilo tomato, 1 kilo of tomato was 3 days back it was 20. Again it was raised to 25. Again it was raised to 30. What some people expect that it may go to 35 or 40. Let us purchase now itself. That means even though there is increase in the price of tomato, there is increase in the demand also. Some people may purchase now itself. They don't postpone the purchase of tomato. So in this case also, in case of speculation effect also, the law of demand will not work. That's why it is also one more exception to the law of demand. And last one is illusion. So what is illusion? Illusion is nothing but the imagination. What the people have a particular idea about certain goods. Generally, all are in illusion that high priced goods have more quality, good quality, better quality. High priced goods have more quality. What is the illusion? That is high priced goods have more quality. So high priced goods have more quality, good quality. If the price of such goods decrease, what all people feel that even the quality also decreased. So instead of purchasing those goods, they may go to other kind of goods. They may prefer to purchase other branded goods, even more priced goods. Understood? See, there are two types of toothpaste. For example, Colgate and Close-Up. All people felt that Colgate has got more quality. If the price of Colgate decreases, the people may not purchase Colgate. Why? Because people may feel that the Colgate quality might have reduced. They may go to other high priced toothpaste. In the same way, in case of other goods also, when the price of those goods actually, the goods which are actually considered as high priced goods, if the price of such goods decrease, people will not purchase those goods. So in this situation also, the law of demand will not work. So that's why these are all called exceptions to the law of demand. What are the exceptions to the law of demand? The first one is given goods, and second one is prestige goods, and third one is speculation effect, and fourth one is illusion. These are all called exceptions to the law of demand. Okay, so students, I hope you understood. Just we have started theory of demand. In that theory of demand, I told you what is demand and what is law of demand, and even we try to understand the law of demand with the help of one table and also diagram. And before that, we have seen assumptions also for the law of demand, and finally we have seen what are the exceptions where the law of demand will not apply, will not work. That also we have seen. So students, I hope you understood the law of demand, and let us see the other important topic, that is what is demand function, in the next class.